Now, I begin my first of these recordings with a disclaimer. I do not think my opinion is valuable, nor that it should be enacted, nor that you should take this as some kind of gospel or speakings or other important information. This is merely me rambling on whatever topic I find interesting or find relevant. And so, I wish to begin this by saying, what is it to have an opinion? Now, I know that sounds like a very high-minded, aloof, almost moronic question. But seriously, fundamentally, what is it to have an opinion? What is it to realize that you, as an individual, have something that is not shared by other individuals? Now, this all sounds very abstract, and it is, fundamentally. But this is the manner of thinking that I am attempting to communicate. This idea of taking a few steps back from the self and examining the component parts of one's personality is an important part of reflection that many people, I fear, do not indulge in enough. As we as beings, as human beings even, need reflection. We need to come to a realization of that we are imperfect. And a lot of people, for some reason, this is of course me sounding aloof and high-minded, completely pretentious, but a lot of people do not reflect. They do not look into themselves and think, what am I? What makes me? Why do I believe this thing? Why do I think this? Why do I hold this idea as gospel, even? And I say gospel there in the abstract sense. I am not directly criticizing the religious, although it is not beyond me to do so. But still, fundamentally, why, as people, do we act as we act? Do we think as we think? Do we aspire as we do? Why are so many of us led by ambition, led by motivations that are ephemeral, that don't exist? I mean, for a human being, one of the foremost challenges we face is to find motivation, is to find a reason to do, or to think, or to be. And a question I wish to ask, and wish other people to ask themselves, is why? Personally, why do I do anything? Because it is a unique experience. Because as a human being, I have a perspective. To me at least, unique in the cosmos, as far as we know, perspective. Because even though I sit here as a small speck of dust, as an ant on another speck of dust, in an ever-endless, as far as we know, galaxy, continuing on for sizes and scales beyond it is within my mind to comprehend, it is still important that as a sentient being, that as any kind of being, one needs to have a perspective, have a sense of being, because we are, and in some temporary, small way, we observe the universe, and in these observations, it is important to realize that you are unique and, to use a better term, you are a unique and special snowflake, as much as I hate that term being used in so many different contexts. And as this, unique being, you have a unique perspective. Everyone has a unique perspective. And it is important to recognize this, and to take those steps back from the norm or the held beliefs of us as individuals and examine them, cross-examine them, compare them. One of my favorite things to do is to compare fictional settings together. And I do this not only because I find it as some kind of odd sense of enjoyment. I do this because it allows me to sort of hone my own pieces of my existence at comparing our own world. Because you must take, a broad view of all things. Because if you don't, You limit yourself to such a narrow perspective. And now, you might recognize what I was talking about in my intro, that I am rambling on an odd subject where no one will understand.